Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
All right, welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, hello, and here we go with a Wednesday KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy days, happy days. All right, big 4th of July weekend going to be coming up here.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
What are the Ralstons doing?
I don't know exactly yet. You know, here's the whole thing is that my wife is very much a seat of the pants type of gal. It's hard to get her to nail anything down ever. I'm a planner, so it is tough, and I do have to require patience. We were supposed to be in El Paso in Mexico, but I think I see where she gets it from. Her dad really never kind of closed the deal on that, so that kind of fell through. And so we are kicking around maybe going to the Keys, but she doesn't want to book anything too in advance, which makes it unpredictable and expensive. And so that could likely fall through as well. So,
last minute travel makes everything get more pricey.
Yeah, it's a terrible plan. I'm not an endorser of it. Like I said, it's the exact opposite of me.
Only time you do that is when you live alone, you might have committed a crime, and you're going to go find a campsite somewhere. It's the only time where you can kind of show up
kind of what it feels
and get
like.
a place.
Or you have a trust fund.
But she doesn't ever like to feel obligated to do something. And if she's very much about how she feels in the moment. And that's always kind of challenging because whenever we do have plans, like I said, we've been walking out of the house before. And I'm like, cool, I can't wait to get there. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. We're not going. I'm like, oh, okay. That's tough.
When that happens and you are clearly excited, does she feel bad and say, I'm sorry? Or is it kind of more just like, we're just not going, Kevin?
It's kind of more just like we're not going, Kevin. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
It doesn't happen often, and it happened earlier in our relationship when we would fight a good bit, and I would have to kind of like, I would get very exasperated, and it would all come down. I pretty much let people know now. I'm like, here's my wife. Here's what I'm dealing with. You know, you're going to have me there in spirit. I'd love to be there in body. And so it is a work to try to get her there. You got to kind of keep her pumped up. She can flip on a dime, and so that's just kind of that's the name of the game.
Yeah, at my birthday party, I just pulled up Kevin's picture from Facebook, and it was like he was just there. It was all you were there in spirit.
That's it.
These Ralstons are high maintenance.
Yeah, one Ralston in particular, but I'm high maintenance by association. So.
You're grouped in.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I was hoping y'all would come to happy hour on Friday, but I kind of knew you probably wouldn't. And I had messaged her like early in the day, and she was like, all right, let me see if we can figure this one out. And then during happy hour, she texted me and said, we're not coming because Kevin is not dressed appropriately. He wore sweatpants.
Whoa, Kevin.
So she put it on you.
Yeah.
Damn, Kevin.
I was like, damn, Kevin.
Well,
you wore sweatpants?
Didn't even know any of this was happening.
You sabotaged
No.
happy hour because you wore sweatpants. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, the problem is, and this is part of the challenge, this is ever trying to go out, I will go and work with my son Cannon every day now. We're trying to try to get him to the gym to do some workout. And
The next generation of hot dog necks.
Yeah, we're doing the lighter stuff. I don't know if I ever endorsed hot dog neck. That was a tough era for me. But then we go to my wife's school. They have a very nice gym there where you can play basketball inside.
Oh.
And so Cannon's trying to get better at his basketball. And so I was in that realm where it's tough to be in dress pants and run around a basketball court. And, nice shoes and all that kind of stuff, because that's what I do. I rebound for him, so I'm sprinting up and down the court. And so I wore something kind of Lululemon-ish where I felt I was athletic enough for a court, but still trendy enough I could go to a happy hour. But apparently my wife didn't want to be seen with me.
I wore a Cobra Kai T-shirt.
Yeah. So right. So that's kind of the balance. I tried to work it out right, but apparently I did not succeed. So, yeah. So I did not realize I ruined us showing up there, but that's how it goes.
Something tells me homegirl was maybe just looking for an excuse not to go, and your pants were the perfect excuse.
I make convenient excuse a lot in our family.
Pants were the reason why he didn't
That's
go.
the reason why we
effed
didn't
it up,
make it.
Ralston.
Yeah, that's the reason why we didn't make it. I wore the wrong pants.
I think we see through this.
Yeah, we all do. We're just like, okay, Queen. Okay. So there you go.
That's okay. Well, maybe next time. I would like for her to plan something.
She doesn't.
Yeah,
That's
that
the thing.
sucks.
She does. I know. That's what's real. Like I said, that's the big challenge is she won't plan anything.
I would
And
like Virginia to stop trying to make plans with y'all because it's not going to happen.
It isn't. Yeah. And so what you have to do is with my wife, it's a gentle dance. You have to kind of get her pumped up and pointed in that direction, and you have to knock down barriers.
What was it? Last Labor Day? She planned something. Was it Labor Day or Memorial Day? Anyway, we were all at the hotel at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
Running around.
Right.
Nobody had to drive, so we were just drinking, and the kids were there. It
Yep.
was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a great time. Yeah, that.
But she planned that.
Right, and that's kind of what has to happen. And even then, I don't know. We made the plan much more than a week in advance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of it as well. So yeah, so but then you've got to kind of So if she takes charge, that's why I'm like, you do it. Here's what I'd like to do, but you got to realize throughout the course of it, there can't be a lot of barriers. You always got to find out. And the one thing I found out with my wife, you got to do a scout and be like, okay, who all is going to be there? Because if it's a situation, my wife doesn't like feeling trapped, or there are some people that that person that sucks the life out of you.
Yes, Virginia.
Okay, well, if my wife is not very tolerant of being in that situation, and there are a few soul suckers that she'll be like, okay, I got to find out are they going to be there, because sometimes I'll look over, and if she's over in the corner getting the soul sucked out of her by the person, I'm like, no.
Well, there's a lot of things. A lot's got to line up.
It does.
Even if the queen's excited about the thing, if she's not feeling it in the moment, it's not going to happen. So it's got to really line up for
does.
Kevin Ralston.
The stars have got to align for it to all go down.
I get it, dog.
It's a tough balance. So
I
I try to let people understand, be like, I will do everything in my power to get my body there.
You need a drink?
Always. Every second of every day.
We need to call Atoll Vodka and say, look, y'all, if y'all are sponsoring this podcast, you need to hook homie up with a bottle a week.
You know it.
I'm actually sick of people coming up to me. Here's what Kevin needs to do with it. I'm like, shut the fuck. Stop. He's like, here's what Kevin needs to do.
You can't help Kevin.
This is how Kevin will get laid. I'm like,
We
guys,
can't help Kevin.
Guys.
Yeah.
You can't help Kevin.
People think they've got the easy fix.
You
This
give
is
Kevin
not,
some
no.
vodka, and then let's call it good.
That's it. Yeah,
That's how you help Kevin.
I've learned how to tolerate, make it all work out. Yeah.
You always got a place at Sasquatch North if you just need to get away.
Every now and then, when it goes real south, when Daddy's been drinking too much, I'll call Bro, be like, I gotta stay on your sofa. I got a little loose in the lips tonight, and I'm really hammered.
I've never told that story.
Yeah. There was one night I had a couple years ago. I went out day drinking with a buddy of ours and got really hammered. And and then I got, and then that's when I get too honest.
Oh. And you started barking at the queen?
Got honest.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So what time of day was it when you got honest?
We'd been day drinking a good part of the afternoon. I wasn't late. It was probably 6 or 7, right?
I picked you up at night. It was dark out.
Yeah, it was
And
dark out.
I picked you up on the side of the road. I get to get a message from Kevin at this time of the night. I knew something was up.
Yeah.
And then I call him and I could hear something was up. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm walking down Village."
I'm walking down.
I did, because I had to get out, because I knew I had the wrong combination of alcohol and anger. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm already saying more than I need to be saying. I'm like, I just need to go walk to cool off.
Before both of us just blow this place up.
Exactly. And that's the way it goes, because the queen is, if you push back at a 1, she pushes back at a 2. And so that's kind of how it goes. So you have to, a lot of times, bite your tongue or just take a deep breath, because you realize this can escalate. You know how they always, that meme, it's like, well, that escalated
That
quickly.
escalated quickly.
You can in a second be like, what the hell just happened in less than 10 seconds?
Well, Ralston took the couch down. This is when I was at the townhouse downstairs. Like, all right, Kev, I'll see you in the morning. And as I'm walking upstairs, I just hear Kevin kind of muttering to him.
I had to still get it all out, but I just got it out to myself.
I know the only person that knew about that was Denny's. No, I never told anybody about that.
Yeah, that was.
That's a great story.
Yeah,
It was.
Sometimes you got to sit on a story for a minute.
Yeah, it
and
was
just
better.
know you can eventually tell a story.
Right.
You just got to let some time pass.
Oh, there's a few stories that I'm sitting on for that reason.
Me
because
too.
They're good stories, but it's not worth even telling them.
Oh, I
because the damage.
I have some gangbusters, but they would blow up my family. But I can talk about them in about a year.
The worst, and I'm kind of going through it right now, is when you have content and drama, but you just know you can't bring it on the air. And it's really, it sucks because, you know, at least if you're able to bring it on the air, you can get perspective, you can get it off your chest. There's positives, in my opinion. It's just certain stuff you can't talk about, and that is always the worst.
It sucks.
It does.
I've got one of those right now. Boy, you guys would love it.
As time goes on, it goes from being something serious to something you can laugh at.
Right.
Yes.
And-
Exactly. But when it's fresh, you can't laugh at it.
Because you're right. There are a lot of things in the moment. You are so upset. Not you, but just the universal person.
Yeah.
You're so upset. Your feelings are hurt. Everything.
Or a family member is so upset.
Yeah, and then time does go on, and you realize, all right, let's laugh at this shit.
Right.
We're only on this rock for so long.
Yeah, exactly. So that's luckily.
Did
that's,
Kevin stay on the sofa all night? What time did he leave the next morning?
You know what? I got up at I think 3:30. He was already fucking gone.
A.M.?
Yeah, we get up so early. There was a school night too. I remember.
It was a show
It
night.
was a work night?
It was a work night,
It was awful too because as soon as I got out to the car, it starts to fucking pour. It's raining.
Of course.
I'm looking for
So
Ralston.
Kevin's walking in the rain on Village?
All down Village.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all know, Village is not that short.
And it's dark.
It kind of takes
It's a long
while.
run.
And it took me a while to find Ralston.
Yeah.
We got him. He's okay. It was great. I was pumped. Like, glad Ralston called me.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Still got to work. Still made it happen.
okay.
Oh, his prep was fucking supreme. It was
Still
great.
got it all together. Yeah, but it was a good time for me. I'm like, I probably need to step out of here. Yeah, that was a.
Oh, you are not
quite a night.
You're not the first fucker who has crashed on my couch
Yeah,
because stuff has
Bird's
gone.
kind of like he's the place to go.
Were you day drinking with someone whose name is Chip?
Yep.
I knew it.
Oh well, then forget about it, man.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I
knew
got in
it.
trouble, and I didn't even have a girlfriend drinking with Chip.
Yeah. Yeah. Chip gets a little loose, and when I get with Chip, we both get loose.
Well, Chip just has. He's like a free willy. He is just gone.
Yeah.
He does what he wants, when he wants, and he's wild. His wife cannot control him.
One of the worst nights I ever got hammered was with Chip, and it was on a Tuesday night at an event. It was a shitty ass event we had to do, but I was the only one that could do it. And it was one of those events behind the scenes. None of us was happy, but it was kind of contracted. So I thought it was going to be a 6 to 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Just get through it, a beer or two. Here comes Chip. And
Oh yeah.
he talks me into, I mean, we were rushing for a fucking frat.
Dude, we were at lunch. We started at lunch. That was it. And he's that happy-go-lucky guy. You're having a good time. And he is, before you turn around, I look down. I'm like, I just finished my drink. I was getting ready to walk out. There's a new drink there. That's Chip.
I drank so much the next morning when I woke up, I had to have my roommate at the time drive me to work because I go, dude, I think I'm still feeling this. I came into work fucking buzzed after hanging out with Chip.
Yeah.
Someone says Chip sounds fun. He is so fun, and he's got the
is.
biggest heart. He's one of the main dudes of Little He's great.
He is.
He is. He's one of the most fun people to hang out with.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, the wheels come off the
They
bus.
do, yeah.
And you got it. Like, his wife is really good at reeling him back in. She lets him loose and lets him be free willy, but she can reel him back in quick.
And she is awesome.
She's awesome. And she parties and she has fun and she goes out with us. So, like, she doesn't party as hard as Chip, but.
Now
Right.
trending in the KVJ chat room, I want to party with Chip.
You should. He's a ton of fun, but it's a wheels come off the bus kind of night.
And I love that dude. That dude is awesome.
Just know this, too. There's 2 Chips at Little Smiles. We have good Chip and bad Chip.
Okay.
You want to party with bad Chip.
But you also want to hang with good Chip.
Good Chip
He's
amazing.
I got nothing but love and great things to say about that cat.
They both party like rock stars, but more stories come out of bad Chip.
It's just so funny when Virginia goes, "Were you with Chip?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, that makes sense."
That was it. It was a Chip kind of night.
He is a day drinking master.
My story is it was my I believe it was my 30th birthday party or we were doing a snack pack show at the Marijuanas in West Palm Beach, and it was about 35 minutes before the show, and Chip would not stop buying me tequila, and I don't do tequila, and I didn't really, because it was dark in there and I was kind of just hyped up. I did not realize how drunk I was getting until it kind of just right before we get on stage.
You're like, oh, wow. Yeah, that moment where you're still kind of your sober mind gets ready to transfer over. You're like, I'm really fucked up. And then,
You're like, oh no, I have to go on stage.
It was so packed. I was talking to KVJ Nation, all kinds of people, and your adrenaline's going. And then when you kind of get a second to just kind of chill for a second, it hit me like a ton of fucking bricks.
oh, yeah.
I remember our speakers didn't work that well, and it was such a good thing because our boss said, I couldn't really hear what you guys were saying. I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing because I forgot every fucking word. I was like, happy birthday! Oh, it was awful. I remember you were looking over before we get on stage. Klepto was slapping me in the face. I was like, get me ready, Klepto, get me ready. He's slapping the shit out of me. And I remember, that's the one thing I do remember, the look of horror on your face.
I was like, oh, what's about to happen on stage?
Nothing good.
This is one of those moments where we can blow it all right here, kids.
There's pictures of you and my sister booty shaking together.
Me and Becky?
Yes.
Okay, girl.
Yeah.
Becky's
quite a night.
fun.
Yeah.
We need to bring Becky out more often.
That was a that was a rager. Do you remember that night?
I do, and I even forgot about that place. It was after, if you knew that area, Village Commons in West Palm Beach, it was a Gatsby's. Used to be a rager. Wednesday night, ladies' nights would go off. And then I forgot about that Marijuana's place that kind of tried to go in and take the same spot over and just, it was, because Gatsby's was a high end. You know, they had gone on that. It was plush, velvet, all that kind of stuff.
All the baseball players used to go there and try to pick up fancy looking tail.
And then Marijuana was kind of like one of those, you know, whenever you have a lizard as your mascot.
It was
It's
beachy.
a Senior Frog vibe.
Yes, it had that kind of thing, and it just wasn't. It didn't last there long.
Reptile means a little loose.
Yeah.
I think that was under a year.
And now I think they've turned that place into, it's like a child care place. It's the most boring exact opposite.
How sad.
Yeah,
if you
It's
lived
dead now.
this area back in the day, Gatsby's was one of the hot spots.
It
From
was.
West Palm to the Jupiter area.
When we moved here, Gatsby's was the king shit.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And you wonder why too. I mean, and I'm not knocking the place. It wasn't as if it was anything special. It had music, it had drinks, it had some food there. Why was that so jumping?
They did have a little bit more of an upscale vibe, and they wanted you to get those little lockers where you could keep your cigars, and they wanted you to the wine and the billiards. They had nicer pool tables. It wasn't like a crappy pool hall. I remember my first date with my old fiance was there.
Yeah, I do. I think I remember that. I think I
You
was
were
there.
probably there.
I think I was there.
Yeah.
Oh my!
First date.
Wish
Yeah.
I could go back and just watch that. I would sit back with some popcorn and watch all 3 hours of that.
Oh, it was good.
Just to hear what you guys sounded like. What the fuck were you? Were you as crazy back then, or were you less turned?
That night she was pretty buttoned up.
Yeah,
I was well behaved because I was trying to catch a man.
She's been on a show, yeah.
It's like, step in this bear trap.
Sweet Virginia always makes me feel weird.
Don't worry, she's dead.
That's something to watch. Yeah, it had a good thing going on.
Wow, so the Ralston was there to watch that love affair blossom.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Ralston had his fiance at that point, so he was off the market, but he was there. We had a bunch of listeners there. We would do radio station events there.
Did you get along with Kevin's ex?
I did. I kind of felt a little sorry for her because she was so sweet and she was she didn't get a lot of our crude, disgusting humor. She also didn't find it funny. And then I felt bad because, I don't know. I just felt like she wanted to be with Kevin, but deep down she didn't belong with Kevin.
And would she quietly, I'm talking about your ex, Kev, tell you how much she did not like Virginia? Did Virginia annoy her or did she like Virginia?
No, I mean, she would never about anything like that. But yeah, she
was so nice. She actually probably wouldn't have ever said anything mean about anybody.
No,
she was a doll.
Yeah, she really was.
She was a kind, sweet, innocent girl that was in over her head.
But she wanted the calmest version of me. You know, and I think we all have different stages of who we are.
She wanted to tame the beast.
Yeah, she wanted the calmest version of Kevin, and I just, there's too much animal left in me.
You can't stop that.
Nah, it just didn't work out. And obviously, when I get around Chip, I still have a little bit of animal.
The animal never goes away.
Yeah, the animal's still there.
You can put it in the cage for a little bit.
Yeah, we
but
try to keep it caged up, but it could slip out every now and
It's
then.
pretty funny to see some of my friends who are now all prim and proper because they're married and they have kids. But I've known them when the animal was around. And it's so funny to see the animal come out every now and then.
Animal's always there.
I remember that fucker.
Yeah.
There's the animal.
we got a babysitter tonight. Let's bring out the animal.
The animal will come out, and I love when the animal. Some people though haven't had the animal come out in a while, and they need practice.
They're due,
or they're just out of they're not seasoned anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it goes. Got a fun email. Sarah from the Virginia Sandwich Cucina Cabana KVJ date last Friday has got a couple tips for us. Nice to hear from her.
Oh, this is Sarah that you went on the date with. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and she said for the stoners, watch the English dub version of the movie The Mermaid from 2016. It's got mermaids, obviously, octopuses, roller skating trampolines, climate change, attempted murder, fried chicken, and make-out scenes that won't get you all hot and bothered. It's got something for everyone if they're high, rated R.
Okay.
Wow, that's called what again?
That is called The Mermaid. It's from 2016.
Okay.
And she said the best pairing I've ever discovered is key lime pie and Corona. It tastes like butterbeer when you pair them, but you'll get hammered real quick as it is a circus in your mouth, maybe a stoner tip as well.
That's a great idea.
That's good stuff. Sarah also gave me some UFO footage that I put up on our TikTok. Now, the debate is it a cloud? Is it a UFO? Right now, people are leaning cloud, but that's okay.
Sarah is fun. She's a cool chick.
Mm-hmm.
We like them.
Yeah. And talking about the pies, because Jaybird had a mini pie here from Publix, key lime.
The debate.
It's not a mini pie.
Yeah,
I'm not getting to that
We
again.
did discover, I'm just going to tell you real quick.
I get what Virginia was saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not about the size; it's about the calories. Because when I looked at that and I said, "Oh, it's like 450," it was per serving. There's 3 per mini pie, so there's 1,350 calories.
Told
And
you.
you said 4,000 originally.
I knew it was over 1,000.
No, I knew that this was over 1,000. But when you said 3,000 or 4,000, I knew
I didn't say 4,000, did I?
Yeah, you did.
I'm crazy.
You did.
I'm crazy.
Denny, please pull that audio.
Denny's, pull that audio.
Well, then some people are saying that's definitely 6 servings. This is 2 people, 2 adult people could eat that, and it would be done. It would be just about 2 pieces of pie.
I think it's 3 adult servings.
There's no fucking way. You eat like a toddler anyway. No way.
Don't get mad at me because your mini pie's a medium pie.
I don't fucking.
You have a mislabeled pie.
Then you know what?
I blame Publix.
Talk to Publix. Yeah.
I do. It's not your fault.
Well, yeah.
But that is not a fucking mini pie. I've seen a mini pie. That ain't it. That's what they put on there, mini pie, so you feel better when your fat ass eats the whole thing.
I think you're more caught up about the words of it. I know what Virginia's saying.
I'm all caught
But
up.
I also know what they're trying to say, too, here. They're going, this is just a mini of our key lime pie. You're so caught up in the fucking semantics.
Well, talking about getting a bit turnt, Twitter Sarah got this Facebook memory from 3 years ago. It is Suits on stage at Brother Jimmy's with a bra on his head.
I remember that
That's
night.
a Cocktails and Karaoke. If you're watching KVJ TV, you can see that.
Did Katie Booyah throw that? Was that the night? Didn't she throw?
I think she did.
She
yes.
said here that Twitter Sarah says that's my bra on his head.
Twitter Sarah.
Yeah, my memory seems a little cloudy due to some beverage consumption, but I'm 99% sure it was when I slung my bra on stage while he was nailing Don't Stop Believing.
Nice.
Yeah, there's no way he's not singing "Don't Stop Believing" right there.
Totally.
That's a signature song.
Well, that was his piece de la resistance.
So where do you think we are? I do get that comment quite a bit. Why aren't you guys doing cocktails and karaoke? Things have opened up again. Do you see that in the future? Or is that something that's...
Yeah, I hope so. It's really more about our promotions in the sales department. Now, the Brother Jimmy's, it is shut down. In fact, tomorrow night I'm going. They're doing a little quick silent opening thing for the El Camino that's taking Brother Jimmy's place.
Fancy.
So I'm going to go and snake that out for everybody and see how it is. Looks like it's going to be great.
Okay,
hopefully it
take
can
some
stay open.
pictures.
I will, yeah. I will definitely just share you guys. So I'll do a little scouting trip on that tomorrow night. So obviously not at Brother Jimmy's. And El Camino doesn't seem, I haven't seen the new place, but being at the one, I've seen the one in Delray, I've been to the one in Fort Lauderdale and Los Olas, and neither of those places are cocktail karaoke type places. We do have a list to our sales department of places that have stages and would be great, like Crazy Uncle Mike's in Boca. That's an awesome spot for doing it. It's just a matter of going out, getting it pitched, and getting somebody that wants to buy it. So, yeah, if we can do all that together, hopefully we can make that happen. So it's in the cards, and I push it. We just haven't had a place jump up yet.
Because your boy might have to go rogue in a minute. I'm feeling the spirit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love karaoke. I love karaoke just my off
Sure,
time.
yeah.
Going there, getting some beer, and just chilling and singing. And we used to do it at some dive bars back in the day with Panda,
Yeah.
with my friends. And it was some of the funnest times I've ever had in my life. I'm not
It's
even
a
kidding.
good time. Yeah. So hopefully we can get that bug. I know people keep asking. I don't know for certain when or if it'll be back, but the desire is there.
It is.
Yeah.
Twitter Sarah made me think of that.
Somebody's got a downright boner for it.
For what?
You.
Do I have a boner?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
For cocktails and karaoke.
Oh, I'm like looking down at my. I thought you looked down at me. I'm like, I don't have a bone piece.
I didn't mean your dick was actually hard. I mean, you were just like, I have a boner for it. You're about to go rogue.
You said that and your eyes darted down. I go, I don't know bone piece.
Sorry, Kevin.
I did accidentally see Virginia's boobs today, though.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Fun,
I thought you
huh?
caught me. That's why I was bringing it up.
I did not.
Well, I looked over, and then her boobs were out, and my eyes darted down. They darted right back up, and I thought you saw it, so I'd rather call it out. Now I kind of wish I would never fucking said anything.
Boy, you do want to sleep with
Oh,
me.
man, that's right. Damn it, why did I say anything?
And I guess I want to sleep with you if
No.
I'm looking at your dick.
That's
Yeah.
true. You're right.
Can you wonder why people keep saying it?
I mean, the tension in here. It's thick.
She sat in between him and the date,
Yeah.
Kevin.
That's why she said that. She was the
She
part of the sandwich.
wants that D.
Yeah. Well, Virginia was talking about something towards the end of the regular show today, and it's something that's been a theme she's brought up, and it's your youngest son, Rocco, his anxiety that has kind of started to show itself here over the summer and the last couple of months that wasn't there before, and it's kind of manifesting itself into him now calling you like every time we go to a commercial break. And you said that's really kind of part of it. And the discussion had come up, and I think it's an interesting one because I think a lot of people deal with anxiety. Most people probably have at least some level of anxiety. I mean, it's just life. But is it something that is nature or nurture? Is it hereditary or is it learned?
I think it's both, honestly. I think
Okay.
every individual is going to be different. Because let's say you are a person that doesn't have any anxiety, and then you get mugged from someone mugs you, and then you
Right.
do have anxiety. You now have anxiety from that incident, where some people that are raised in anxiety, I think, are more prone to it if it is hereditary. I think it's hereditary in my family, so if something happens, it may hit me differently than it may hit somebody else who's not so prone to it.
Well, I guess the question would be for me, you say it's hereditary in my family. So my question is, had you been born with the genetics of the family but raised by another, would you still have it? So that is my question, because I think that we all likely are born with the ability for anxiety because it serves a purpose in our systems to alert us to potential danger. So I think that just being a human being by nature, you could have anxiety, and you should, because it keeps you alive.
Sure.
But how much of that ratio would be? Is it 10% that you're just born with it and then 90% learned?
Well, yeah.
Or is it vice versa?
Look at the spectrum of anxiety. If you have, because I agree with you. I think people do. I think everybody has anxiety. I think everyone's got a depression to a certain level. I think that's part of being a human. Now, I think there's a spectrum of all that. I think some people are able to deal with it. But let's say if you are prone to anxiety and you're raised in a household that doesn't have really that much anxiety, there's not a lot there. Is it possible that you may not have as much if you were raised with a family that did have a lot in front of your face? I think that's possible too.
Well, I know that, for instance, with anxiety, there are certain people that I'm around that they spike it, or situations where you're like, okay, anxiety is riding high.
Virginia, yes.
But then you can be with other people that might be calm, and in situations that are completely chill, and you're like, oh, what do you know? I've noticed I don't have any anxiety. And so I think that that's a big part of what anxiety is. So if your environment that you go into is always tense, or there's a lot of pressure on, or there are things that kind of make you anxious, then I think that's definitely going to be higher. But that is going to be on the learned / more your environment than anything hereditary.
And the crazy thing about all this stuff is what makes Virginia anxious may not make me anxious. There's a lot of people who don't understand why I have a tough time walking in front of buildings. My entire life, people thought that was fucking weird. But for whatever reason, for me, it's a major thing. It's different for everybody. And I think sometimes just having that understanding going, I may not understand Kevin's anxiety, but I have anxiety, so
Sure.
I do understand anxiety in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it. And there are weird moments that, to you, this is the one thing about being a parent that does concern me. To you, in that moment, you don't see anything that's crazy or dangerous about it. Like what happened with your building story, where you're kind of getting yelled at, and you were looking at a taller building, and the awfulness of the getting yelled at imprinted with a tall building, and thus comes your phobia of taller buildings.
But I also think there was a lot of leading factors up to. I mean, it's just not normal for me to be playing in. I was yelled at a bunch of times as a kid in front of buildings. Everything was fine, but there were other factors leading up to that I think led me to be prone to more anxiety in that situation. My spirit was down anyway.
Okay.
And I think when your spirit's down, you kind of like leaving the windows open.
Yeah.
You're not doing everything right to kind of get those anxiety monsters away from you. I was doing the opposite. I was leaving the windows open, and they kind of got to me. And I was so young, too.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing about being a parent. That's the thing where you look at a situation as an adult through adult eyes. You don't see anything that worries you or would give you anxiety or is a problem. But what is the kid seeing? I mean, I talked about how my parents were playing Copacabana by Barry Manilow, and they were talking about somebody getting shot in the song, and I'm crawling on the floor underneath the windows at night thinking somebody's out there with a gun and they're going to shoot me.
Damn.
I mean, who would ever have thought you're playing Copacabana in the background and you're an adult just grooving out, and meanwhile your freaking neurotic kid is crawling around doing army crawls on the floor. Be like, what the hell's wrong with the kid? Those are the kind of things that I always wonder as a parent. How many times have I traumatized my children in an environment that I wasn't even aware was traumatic?
And I think all you can do as a human is try to do the best you can.
Sure, yeah.
And hope you don't fuck your kid up too much. Because I got news for all y'all. Everyone's fucked up.
You're gonna fuck up your kid. Just realize you need to probably at some point put him in therapy for things you don't even know you did to him.
You just try to minimize the fucking up.
Right, that's it.
Oh my gosh. I got like a 8-page email from a listener last week that you forwarded to me about all the things that I've done to fuck up Rocco, and that it's my fault.
Oh, wow.
That he's got all these anxieties. And I was like, okay, I agreed with her on some of it.
What did they say that
I'm looking for it right now.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes those mean emails, they'll hit certain parts. Damn, fuck you.
Damn, this bitch. Oh wait, she's right. I wanted to fight with. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's from Denise Powell. Sorry if you didn't want me to say your name, but it's 12 pages long.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't give
Is it really?
It's really long.
Let me see this thing.
Okay, here, you ready?
Yeah. Oh, Kevin, I'm on paragraph 9.
A lot.
There's at least at least 10 paragraphs in there.
It blames me for being so spontaneous. It blames me for not biting my tongue. It blames me for
Please tell me there's
telling everybody all of our business on the radio.
I'm honestly, trying to be a critic, and obviously I'm in it, but I'm not hearing anything yet. And also, too, I mean, look, you're going to have parents that are going to be boisterous and they're going to speak their mind, and some kids will see that and be empowered by it, and say, I'm going to be a person, I'm not going to be a doormat. And you could argue that that's really actually a great quality to not be that person. So I'm not yet hearing the thing that.
Hey, look,
she listens a lot. She calls out Panda for letting Rocco see the beginning of that Motley Crue movie. She says that could have a part of it. She says
the squirter.
She says that we have to not forget that he's still a child and don't treat him like an adult when he should be treated like a child. It's so long.
Okay. So there's a lot in there.
Virginia, I got a really long one the other day, too. How I'm doing it all fucking wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I get what she's saying, but I don't know if some of these things, like the Motley Crue movie, that was a year ago. Like these anxiety things that Rocco just started exhibiting were like in the past 60 days. Like the Motley Crue movie was a long time ago. How could that possibly be connected?
People are in the chat room going, oh my gosh, I mean, wow, this lady has so much time on her hands. Y'all, if you only knew some of the fucking emails we get.
But this is it.
And I look at everything. I want to absorb what she's saying. I do. But a part of me is going, okay, now we're just trying to make something, out of...
Well, you also don't want to... If she really wants to help...
Which she does.
Okay. It's just she wasn't trying to make you feel bad? You don't think she was coming from a place...
There's a little bit of that.
Well, then, there's my...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think if you look at it, even if you have the best parents ever, and I would say I had some of the... I had some of the best parents ever, but I think you're always going to imprint something on your kids that are going to give them anxiety. I would hate to think of what mine are. There's a laundry list for me of things that I'm sure that I've done. I look back, I'm like, man, that wasn't your best move. But I look at my parents who I would say arguably big old Christian home, religious, and they're conservative,
careful,
and all those kind of things, and loving,
present.
That's it. But my mom was all big on the left behind, and the world's going to end. And some of the Christian stuff, that was very traumatic. I was in first grade seeing that stuff. I talked about it. So even the most conservative, you would think, oh, they're not going to do anything to fuck up their kids. My mom fucked me up at a young age about end of the world stuff. And that's pretty traumatic. If you think all of a sudden the sea's going to turn to blood, as a young kid, that can mess you up. So I think even every parent has to imprint some anxiety on their kids.
Yeah, Kevin's nailing it. There's no way you want to do the best you can.
Right.
But it's just human nature. You're going to rub off a little bit. Everyone's got a little bit of their parents in them.
Yeah, no parent is ever going to be perfect and do everything absolutely right. That's just the way it goes.
And you know how it works, V. As soon as you bring anything to the public, everyone's got the right to say, and
sure.
And you know that.
And she does. And the only reason I'm reading the email is because it's like kind of on topic. I probably wouldn't have read it on the air otherwise.
Getting kind of belittled and getting your ass chewed out sometimes is pretty fucking
it's
funny.
Paragraph after paragraph
That's what's
of
insane.
all the things I've done wrong. And she's been a listener for a while. The fact that we let him curse, I've made a big mistake on that one. He is too smart, but I've also desensitized him to cursing and... Oh, yeah.
Going back to the Armageddon thing, Kev, there's no way that didn't fuck you up a little bit.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, there's no way.
It still really does dominate, my thoughts and a lot of things. I've always, with that, because there was so much religious pressure that was always put on me to be perfect. So, that a lot of times can have an effect on kids as well about trying to be perfect and sinning and all those kind of things.
It's weird because I wouldn't say I grew up at all in a strict religious household, but it was odd because we would go through these weird phases where there'd be no religion for months or even a year. And then all of a sudden, we're going to church and we're reading the Bible. It was very inconsistent.
Sure.
But I remember me being a little kid, religion. and this is not an attack on a holy war I'm trying to start.
Yeah.
I just know some of the information I was getting scared the fuck out of me as a little kid.
Yeah.
And people didn't explain it to me the right way.
And I will tell you, my whole life and where I am with it now is I have done deep dives all throughout religion and the faith I was raised with to fully understand things, because there are a lot of contradictions and things that I was taught that as you get older, and I was taught the biggest thing that they really beat into me was don't question it. Which I get now is because there's a lot of funky shit here that we don't want you talking about because it is kind of messed up.
And we don't think that this was made by God or Jesus. This was what people came up with.
And I'm still discovering stuff now as I continue to delve in there that, I would love to sit with a theologian and say, hey, I've got a whole running many-page thing of questions that I just can't answer. And I'm always finding something. This week, if you want to read the instruction manual on how to give an abortion, look in the book of Numbers. I mean, that's a crazy thing that, I never was taught that, oddly enough, in any church I've ever been in. But that's something that you might want to look into. So I'm always trying to find stuff like that and reconcile. And when you have all that pressure on you of don't question, follow in the footsteps, here's what you do, here's how you live, here's what you don't say, that can give you a lot of anxiety and mess with your head.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still dealing with it, and I'm,
Dude,
way
you tell me the stories
I'm way
about
in the middle age.
You tell me the stories about Left Behind. That would have fucking
Forever.
freaked out a little Jay Bird to a level of. I mean, that's hardcore, man.
Forever imprinted in my mind. So,
what do you guys think about this approach? Well, Richard says my parents always raised me with tough love. Deal with it. You were raised in the 80s or the 70s.
Yeah.
Yes,
somehow.
there was not a lot of tenderness in the 70s and 80s. And I don't think my grandmother raised my dad like that. And I don't think my other grandmother raised my mom like that. Like, they weren't tender, loving, present, careful about your feelings, in tune with your needs. Like, they just didn't do that shit for kids.
Were they affectionate towards you?
Not that much.
Would you say you're an affectionate person, or do you work to get to be affectionate?
I am overly affectionate with my kids to the point where they get annoyed.
Not even with your kids, but just overall.
Overall, no.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
But with my kids, yes, because I realized that was an area that I wish I would have gotten when I was younger, and then probably I wouldn't be so cold today.
It's weird. You, Kevin, and Denny's are not the most affectionate people as far as you kind of...
Don't hug me unless I initiate the hug.
I come from, give me your face. You're always getting hugged. And
slobber.
It's so funny. Suits, I think it goes me the most affection, then Suits, then probably Kevin, then you, then Denny's maybe.
Really?
Yeah. You and Denny's are a flip-flop.
Interesting.
I think Ralston's got. I think you would be more affectionate.
I am with my kids. Yeah. Very much. But the queen is. She's. We came from an area where you weren't too affectionate.
If she was very affectionate to the point where she only wants to rub your arms while you're watching TV, would that bother you, or would you like it?
I'd be okay with it. Yeah.
Okay with it.
Yeah, I would like it.
Okay.
I would like it. Yeah. Now it's kind of like, get the fuck off me.
He would like it because he doesn't get it.
That's what I'm saying. But if you got it all the time,
I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
We're trying to watch Narcos.
I would have to get it before I could tell you. Right now, I'd welcome it. The doors are wide open.
I like seeing what the fuck was going on with you fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Well, if you want to jump into the conversation, is anxiety hereditary or is it learned? Is it nature or nurture? Got some comments starting to build right now on the KVJ Show Facebook page. I'd say right now most people are leaning on it is learned, but some people are saying absolutely both, and I think there is. You would probably look how much percentage of it is something that is genetically passed on to someone else, and then how much of it is learned. Personally, I think it's probably more learned than it is hereditary.
I'm with you on that big time. That's a controversial statement, but I do think if you are looking at shit and shit's always making you anxious, you can probably be anxious.
I would think so. But if you want to jump in on that, go to the KVJ Show Facebook page, and you can discuss it there. Thanks for all the emails. Send them to us, mail@kvjshow.com. Y'all have an amazing day. We will talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.